This film has been classified 15, which means it's unsuitable for anyone younger than that. They may also contain sexual swear words.
Hi, my name is Mike. Welcome to my vlog about football in general and Burnley FC in particular. A vlog that this week stuck that little piece of nostalgia on at the start for a damn good reason. When I started doing these vlogs, part of my idea was to talk into camera about how I feel about things, about how I feel about Burnley FC in particular. And one of the rules I kind of had for myself was I'm not going to go full Steve Dangle. Now, Steve Dangle is, if you do a YouTube search, is a wonderful YouTuber and podcaster who does these incredible rants and raves about the Toronto Maple Leafs ice hockey team. And they are really, really entertaining. He is a fantastic broadcaster, a fantastic YouTuber. But he kind of has a reputation for ranting and raving and all that kind of stuff. And I said to myself, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that guy who goes into a camera and sort of goes and be's extreme, goes and yells and rants and raves and all that kind of stuff. I'm not that kind of, well, I can be that kind of person, but I'm not going to describe, and I've said this before, that every goal we score is carnage and insane limbs and all that kind of thing. I'm not interested in any of that. So I said to myself, I'm never going to go full Dangle. But last night's game, there was kind of a point. And when I got about halfway through the second half, a thought occurred to me. A thought popped into my head. A thought that I've never had in 30 plus years of following Burnley Football Club. And that thought was a simple one. I cannot fucking wait for this manager to leave. And there, I've said it. I've said it. It's out. I feel better for getting that off my chest. I cannot wait for this manager to leave. Because I cannot contemplate with any joy or happiness the idea of watching the rest of this season, irrespective of whether we get promoted directly, automatically, through the playoffs or stay in the Championship. I am looking at the next month or so where I am not going to be able to get to a game. I think the next one I can get to is Sunderland at home and going, yeah, that's all right. The idea right now that I would have to go and drive the hour or so down the motorway to Burnley over Christmas to watch that team play that turgid, lumpen shit is not something I particularly want to do. Thankfully, I'm away at Christmas. Thankfully, I'm not even in the country because this is the way my kind of life works. I have an incredible habit, I've said it before, of missing derby games home and away through other stuff happening. I've got an amazing habit of not even being in the country for them. It is just the way it kind of falls. But I'm not regretting that right now. And this sounds crazy. This sounds crazy for a team that is third in the Championship and within touching distance of automatic promotion. But I cannot wait for this manager to leave. One of the things I've kind of not tried to do is compare managers to previous managers because it's not fair. Each person, each manager has their own style. Each manager has their own way and their own approach. We kind of went, 180 degrees from Dyche Ball to Company, and that's okay. That is a style of philosophy. That's fine. There is, and I support this, I believe this truly, there is no correct way of playing football. And playing football the wrong way is sometimes quite entertaining, as we found under Dyche, because it's a way of pissing off those fans who believe it should, entitled fans who believe it should be done a certain way. To sit and watch and compare this style of football against what we've had under Sean Dyche and Vincent Kompany, we can see how this is going. And it reminds me, watching this, remember under Dyche, where we always had Man City at home, especially after that 1-1, where Pep, took it personally and made sure that we were never going to get a point off those guys ever again. And what it was, the way it would work is we would go to the turf and we would sit down, we would watch the game, and after about 10 minutes, City would score. And from that point onwards, It was a training match. It was a contractual obligation. The conversation and the noise in the ground for the rest of those games against Man City was, how are the wife and kids? How's the job going? How's things? You okay? We weren't particularly watching. It was a contractual obligation. We turned up. The team turned up. We got it over within 90 minutes. It was done. It was just something. It happened. We've had fucking 6 of them this year. Derby being the latest. We have played the teams in 13th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 23rd, 24th, and scored 8 fucking goals. 8 of them. And 6 of those games were at home. And yeah, I did skip 14th, which is Luton, and 22nd, which is Cardiff, where we scored a total of 9 goals. But remember, that wasn't Parker's squad. We keep getting told that wasn't his squad. It got dismantled at the end of August. See with what he's got to work with now. But let's throw those in for a laugh. 17 goals in 12 games against the entire bottom half of the division, and over half of them came in 2 matches. We've scored 8 goals all season against teams that have fired their manager, and 5 of them were Cardiff. Our top scorer has 6, 2 of which were penalties. And talking of the squad, don't give me that. What manager in their right mind joined Burnley in the summer planning to play this season with Sander Berge, Zeki Amdouni and Wout Weghorst? We all knew they were off. We all knew they were going with others. We knew the squad was getting trimmed. So this idea, this defence that the team was sold out from under Scott Parker, no it wasn't. James Trafford, Maxim Esteve, CJ Egan-Riley, Connor Roberts, Josh Cullen, Josh Brownhill, Jay Rodriguez, Lyle Foster. They've all been here longer than Scott Parker. So don't give me the it's not his squad, because it very, very much is. Oh, missed out Luca Colio's show. And people turn around and say, you know, this idea of, oh, he's had to build it, you know, they've got it. He hasn't had time to implement his ideas and so on and so forth. Again, compared to previous managers, Deitch came in, solidified things, and then you saw a pattern of play, and he did it comparatively quickly. Deitch had patterns of play. That Ashley Westwood banana ball, the set piece, the long ball with the knockdown for Chris Wood to feed off, the cross, the set pieces, the crosses. There was a style of play. Wasn't particularly attractive in certain eyes, but it was a style of play. And that style of play was there fairly quickly. Company, he had squad turnover like you wouldn't believe. But at the end of July, it was July 31st, away at Huddersfield, the team had a style of play. In 6 weeks, the team had a style of play. Now, that style of play evolves. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't, you know, the juggernaut that happened post-December. But we could see there was a style of play because that style of play had come in the time that the manager had had. And let's say the season started for Scott Parker at the start of September. Let's say that's when we start. We are now in middle of December. So Company got his style of play in to the players in 6 weeks. Deitch got his style of play into the players in 6 to 8 weeks. Scott Parker has had 16 games if we start from September the 1st, which is after the Derby game against Blackburn. 16 matches. What is our style of play? What is our plan? What is the method we use to score goals? I can't see one. I cannot see one. And people can turn around and go, oh, we don't have strikers. Really? Lack of a striker? We're not creating 10 chances. A good, you can turn around and say, if we have a good striker, we'd be finishing off the 10 chances a game we create. But we don't create 10 chances. We don't create 5. We don't create 3. You could have Harry Kane. You could have Gerd Muller. You could have Gary Lineker up front. They're not finishing off aimless crosses from the corner of the penalty box while surrounded by 4 defenders. No striker in the world is doing that. And this is coaching. This is the plan. The lack of coaching. Koleosho is still running into blind alleys. Cullen and Brownhill have played together for 2 seasons and has no idea where the other one is going to run to. 16 matches. Where is the pattern? Where is the plan? I've said it before. I don't know what they're doing down at Gawthorpe, but I have this kind of feeling that the area between the edge of the 18-yard box, the sides of it, and the touchline at Gawthorpe is fucking landmined. Because those players are not running there. They are not putting crosses in. Here is a screenshot from yesterday's game. Second half of yesterday's game. And it shows you the problem. Connor Roberts is firing a cross in from 10, 15 yards outside the penalty box. The forwards have got defenders around them. The angle is coming in all wrong. No forward, if he can get his head on the ball, is going to be able to generate any kind of power to beat a goalkeeper from the distance away that he's standing. And the opposition know the ball isn't going to Luca Koleosho out to the right because the byline is not a threat, because Koleosho is going to get the ball and run inside. It's fucking maddening. Who went to last night's game with a sense of anticipation? Who watching this was like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to going to the turf tonight. I know Friday. Friday, yeah, good game. Entertaining game in horrible, filthy conditions. But it still relied on a bit of a wonder goal from Connor Roberts. Speaking of which, why is Connor Roberts, off right back, looking most weeks like the most creative player? And it required him to score a very nice goal, possibly wind assisted, but I don't want to take that credit away from him. And the only other chance we really created was the corner that dropped at Roberts' feet. And it just, too fast, he couldn't do anything about it. Not going to blame him. Way it went. How many times do we come away going, well, on balance of play, we probably deserve to win that. But, okay, on chances created. What chances did we create last night? Brownhill had that shot. Why is Brownhill, A, the furthest guy forward on a long ball, and B, being forced to take a first-time shot from 20 yards? It was a good save. It was a good shot. It'd have been spectacular. But that is a low percentage chance. You know, I'm not into expected goals and all that rubbish, but that's a low percentage chance of a shot. He did well. He got it on goal. Keeper made a good save. But that was pretty much it. Against Borough actually had the better clear-cut chances. Forget possession, forget expected goals, all that stuff. You would probably have thought Borough had more chances than Burnley did in that 1-1 draw. QPR, Preston. We again, same arguments. Oh, well, we had the balance of play, we had more possession. How many chances? We'd have lost that game against Preston if the linesman hadn't fucked up. We didn't deserve to beat QPR. We didn't even deserve to beat Swansea, and that was a last-minute penalty. Did we deserve to beat Hull? Not really. Did we deserve to beat Derby? Do you come away from last night's game going, God, Derby were lucky? No. And it all comes down to the manager. It all comes down to this lumpen, dull football that the players, and note, I am not having a go at the players. This lumpen football that they are being told to play, that we were warned about, that I was afraid of. And I will not have a go at the players. I won't, because the players are doing what they are told. Some of them had a bad game yesterday. Jade Lanty had a bad game. We play 46 matches a year. It's not going to be perfection every single time. Well, we saw that 2 years ago, but anyway, that was such a one-off season. Who actually looked good yesterday? Sarmiento. Against Borough, Connor Roberts. We've had Egan Riley look good. Brownell's look good occasionally. Luca, no, not really looked good this year because he's not being coached. We haven't put together a performance. We haven't looked like putting together a performance. And yet we're third in the championship. That's the joke. That is the joke. We've beaten Leeds, who were at the top. Hand on heart, did we really deserve that? No. Not really. It wasn't a Dyche-esque, or it wasn't a particularly Dyche-esque sort of nick a goal on the break and hang on. Again, we got lucky with the Worrell penalty that probably should have been a penalty. I've had it. This is a guy who's had enough. And this is me almost 24 hours after the game. Last night, I was like, I am sick of this shit. It's not the players. I am sick of... The reason I'm watching it is because I paid for my Now TV subscription. And it's not about atmosphere, by the way. It's not about connection to the club or anything like that. It's not about us as fans not doing our part. It's just depressing to watch on television. I cannot imagine what it's like. Well, I can, because obviously I've done it over the years. But I can't imagine what it's like to sit in those conditions and watch that, knowing that there is a nice, warm fire at home. Hopefully someone there who loves you. A nice drink. A mince pie. And people go out the house, cold, wet, rainy December night, paying a fair bit of money to watch that. Where do we go? Am I saying get him sacked? I don't know. Because you're sacking a manager who's third in the championship. What do? Do we go to the end of the season? And then we're in the situation, the quite unbelievable situation of, thanks Scott Parker, you got us promoted to the Premier League. Now fuck off. And I never thought I'd be that way. Never thought I'd be that way about a Burnley manager. I had sympathy for Brian Laws. Cotterill was dull. He'd run out of ideas. But the club had nothing. The club had no resources. And he ran out of steam a long way. And eventually was part of his misery. Sean Dyche ran out of steam. His team had given everything. He'd given everything. And eventually we hit the wall. But watching that team struggle was still infinitely more entertaining than watching this. Because we knew that the odds were against us. We knew that Premier League team had given everything and just had hit the end of the road. Whereas this lot, we're third with the resources of a top 2, top 3 team that has taken on the 3 promoted sides out of League One and scored twice in 270 minutes of football. 2 goals. And to be honest, one of them was a bit of a freak. And these are clubs with budgets that we dwarf. Now, I know Burnley's thing has been to be the underdog, to make those clubs who have all the money look stupid. Okay. And I'm not... This is the thing. I'm not actually blaming the clubs, Derby or whatever, for doing what they need to do. Because I understand it. Because we did it. So I no criticism of those clubs and the way they have come to the turf and the way they have played. Because they know this isn't a team to be feared. This isn't a team to be worrying about. Give them the side of the 18-yard box. We're not going to do anything with it. The only thing they have to do is not... The opposition teams have to do is not so much stupid. Is not give the ball away. And even then, we don't take... We haven't the players in the fucking penalty box to take advantage of it. So am I calling for the manager's head? You know what? I don't think I care. That's the difference. If I cared about this season, then I probably would be. But I don't. Because it's beat the shit out of me already. There's no... I don't hope for improvement. I'm just looking at it and going, all that it matters is the result. And the result is going to happen whether I watch it or not. There's no entertainment in getting to the result. So what's actually to stop me reading a book and checking the score at 4:45? Because I'm not even particularly interested in following it. It was on the TV because it was on the TV, last night because I paid for it. If I hadn't paid for it, not really interested. For the last few years, I paid for Clarets Plus and listened to Phil Bird's commentary. This year, it's a game-by-game basis. Nah, I'll just follow it online. I'll follow it on Blue Sky. I'll follow it on The Guardian's minute-by-minute clock watch. I'm just bored shitless watching this team. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. Up the Clarets.